Good morning, artists. Today we are going to look at the element of art known as value. Value is the lightness or darkness of a hue. It can also be referred to as brightness or darkness when talking about art. Value is a very important element of art because value can communicate things such as mood, realism, a light source, style, or emphasis. We'll be creating a 5-step value scale today using our sketchbook, our ebony pencil, and our blending tools. Let's get started. The first thing we are going to do is we're going to establish how much space we need to make a 5-step value scale. I like to use my thumb as a measuring tool and roughly make 5 of these little bracket dudes that are about the same size. Then you can draw straight lines on the bottoms and the tops and make some nice little rectangles. Today we are going to go from our darkest value to our lightest value. Bear with me while I refocus my camera. Sometimes it does its own thing. Starting at the top, we will go from our darkest to our lightest value. The way that you create value with an ebony pencil is by using more or less pressure. To start, I can use the maximum amount of effort and pressure, or I can use a little and layer to a darker value. So I will use about a medium amount of pressure to fill in my first rectangle with what we would probably say is the standard color of our ebony pencil when we're using it normally. Then I can use a little more pressure by pushing down more with my fingers and my hand, pushing the ebony tip of the pencil into the paper. And I'll do that 2 more times to get a nice dark value. And once more. You can go over your lines if you want to. If your rectangle is not rectangular enough, I totally get it. One thing you will notice while using your ebony pencil is that it will move if you put your fingers in contact with it or you drag your hand across. This is really beneficial because it makes it easier to blend when we get to that point. Now, if I was to ask you how we would get a slightly lighter value than our darkest, what would you say? That's right. You would probably say use less pressure. Let's do it, Kanak. So this is our darkest value, closest to our true color. Now I am going to ease up on the pressure of my ebony pencil and fill in the next rectangle down. I've gone across my rectangle about 3 times, and this will be 4. You don't have to have your pencil extremely sharp. That's a really good question. The duller the pencil, the better, because it actually will connect with more of your paper surface. And I went over it a 5th time because I got distracted. So, darkest, a little bit lighter. 3rd one, less pressure and less layering. The nice thing about working with graphite is that layering is very, very easy. Because it's such a nice, soft material, it breaks evenly over your paper. What we're looking for with our value scale is a gradient of dark to light. There's a new word for you. Gradient, G-R-A-D-I-E-N-T, means dark to light, or light to dark. So the most pressure, a little bit less, even less, and probably only 1 or 2 layers with this second to last rectangle, because we want to see that change of dark to light. And I am going only 1 layer on this last rectangle. Something that you might tend to do when you're first working with ebony is you work very, very dark. work light and layer, you will always have more forgiveness. You can never take away what you already put down because it will always be there waiting. Now, does this seem like an even scale, or do some of these seem darker than others? These are the questions you have to ask yourself when you are creating a value scale. Those of you that have completed this will now get a worksheet that has a 10-step value scale. Do not panic. It is not that bad. In fact, it is easier because you can go crazy dark and you're not going to hurt it. These values seem very similar to each other, don't they? It's because they are very close in value to each other. Now, I know I promised you we would use our blending tool, so let's do that. Your blending tool is just like a pencil, so don't rock on it. Hold it nice and gentle and draw over what you already colored in to soften and blend your lines. This is also a really nice way to blend and add a value all by itself, and I'll show you that in 1 minute. So I'm going to go over these. What do you think I could do? What would be an option if one of my values was too similar to the other one? Perhaps we could erase a layer. Well, we might still have some residual color on there. That might be a problem. Check this out. This is one of my favorite things about my blending tool. I can make a whole rectangle all by myself without my ebony pencil, and it's still loaded with material from my value scale. I can also go back and make this even darker to make my value scale a little more accurate, dark to light. So these should be very similar to each other, and these, not so much. Now, if you really are upset about the quality of your value scale, you can take your black eraser and you can drag lightly over the top and try again. Because I thought this one was the darkest. These two, they could have a little more change between them. And this one was definitely too dark. So I'm just going to go over one layer. And that will create a 5-step value scale. Again, when you have completed this activity, you will be receiving this activity, which is a 10-step value scale. And in the next class, we will demonstrate how to shade in the round to make a ball that looks like it's sitting on a table. Please let me know if you have any questions. I will, of course, answer them. And have a great day.